Good afternoon. It is your boy, Kelvin, not Calvin, and I am here to share you with my Storytime Thursday. It's this little thing that I want to do where I just share a cool little story with you. I share something that happened to me, or I share a story out of a book. This week it will be the African Folklore book by Harold Kuhlander. And I would like to share with you a story about the Gluttonous Ansige. Ansige is a king in Sudan, I believe, or somewhere. And he's got a palace and all that jazz. He's got servants, he's got horses, he's got caravans, he's got all that stuff. And he's got a wife. And his wife, Pama, she knows everything about him. She knows what his favorite food is. She knows what his favorite color is. She knows how to dress him the best, all of that stuff. But Ansige, he's a petulant child. He does not appreciate Pama. So he says, Pama, this food sucks. Pama, I don't like my clothes anymore. Pama. So Pama gets upset. She hightails it out back to her dad's house, which is far away. So she's like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this guy anymore. So she goes back home. She says, Ansige, I have to take care of my dad. He's really sick. So she leaves. She doesn't come back for 2 years. Wow. So Ansige's like, you know what, man? The food here is even worse now since Pama left. My clothes suck even more. I am so tired of this. I'm going to go to her dad's house and I'm going to bring her back to the palace. So he gets up and he grabs one of his servants and he's like, all right, man, I'm going to go. So he hops on his horse and he's over there, shows up at the dad's house, and the dad prepared a goat for him. Says, hey, you were Ansige, right? And he's like, yeah, man, what's going on? And he's like, I got this goat for you. And he's like, all right, cool, you got this goat? Dope. So Ansige, without even saying what's up, dropping his stuff down, he grabs the goat, takes the goat into the forest, not into the forest, but into the plains. Takes the forest over to the plains, kills the goat, starts a fire, and eats the goat, the whole thing. I'm talking about the head, the feet, all of that stuff. He was like, this is so delicious. But he's a gluttonous guy. He was still hungry. So even before meeting his wife up, he goes to another one of the fields nearby and he kills a sheep. So he brings the sheep back to his old firing ground so he can eat that bad boy. And Pama goes, man, I heard Ansige was here. Let me go check out and see what he's gotten himself into. She runs outside. She sees Ansige's killed the sheep that doesn't belong to him. She's like, oh no, Ansige, what are you doing? He goes, do you not know me? You know I was still hungry. I had to go find something else to eat. So I went and killed this sheep. She's like, hey man, this is where I live. The townspeople are not going to be cool with that. So this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna drop this dead sheep next to this horse over here and we're gonna blame it on the horse. We're gonna say the horse killed this sheep. Capiche? He's like, cool. Townspeople come by, they're like, oh man, what happened to this sheep? And they said, well, the horse must have kicked it to death. Luckily Ansige was there to pick up the sheep remains. He was gonna eat it, but if that's not what you guys want, I totally understand. They're like, we don't. So they take their sheep back. Ansige is still hungry. So Pama's like, you know what? Let me go out to the forest. The forest again. The cornfields is where we're going. I'm going to the cornfields. I'm going to grab him some corn. And then I'm going to roast him some corn. And then that'll be that. So she grabs 20 men's worth of corn. 20 men's worth of corn. In her little basket. She brings it back. She roasts up the corn. And he eats all of it. For 20 men, he eats all of the corn, right? So he's still hungry. So he goes out into the cornland, the cornfields, the cornlands, the cornfields. And he goes and he grabs himself some more corn. But that's not his corn either. That is the townspeople's corn. So he's walking back. It's the dead of night, by the way. He's walking back with all this corn in his hands because he didn't bring a bucket. He's just bringing this corn. And he's walking, and it's the dead of night, so it's pitch black. He does not know that he is walking towards a well. He falls inside of the well, like, help! So his wife goes, man, Ansige's been gone for a while. I should go see what he's up to. She gets over to by the well where he is, And she looks down and she sees him. There he is, floating with all this corn inside the well. She's like, Ansige, what are you doing? He goes, do not act as though you do not know me. I was still hungry. I had to go get some more corn. She's like, that is not your corn, sir. We got to make up another lie so you can get away with this, because the townspeople are going to be very upset if they found out you ate all their corn. She's like, all right. So she calls the townspeople. Townspeople, come over. So the townspeople come. She says, my husband saw that there was goats in the cornfield trying to eat the corn. So he chased them all away, but there was a bunch of corn that was already on the ground. So he thought, I might as well just pick it up and eat it myself. So he does not know the trails because he is not from here. He's walking and he falls down the well. Can you guys please help him out? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So they throw a rope down the well. He grabs onto the rope. They tie the other end of the rope to a horse, smack the horse on the behind, and it pulls him right out. Right? So everything's all good now. She's like, you know what? Before he gets into any more trouble, let me make him some more food so he doesn't go off anywhere. So she goes and she makes meal. A bunch of meal. Meal enough for 20 men. The bowl is huge. She's just cooking it up. And she puts all this meal into these little itty bitty dumplings. So she makes him some dumplings made out of this meal. Enough for 20 men! 20 men's worth of meal dumplings she makes. So, of course, as soon as she's done, he eats all of it. Every single drop, kernel, whatever you want to call it, he eats all of that stuff. And he's still looking for more food. Because, of course, he's Ansige. He's the gluttonous Ansige. You couldn't expect any less. So the pot that she had been making the meal in, he sticks his head in to try to get just a little more. Like, maybe if I could just, stick your head in and lick the side of the bowl. That's what he's trying to do, right? So he puts his head in, but he can't get his head out. Now his head is stuck. So his wife, again, she was washing the dishes or something, says, you know what, let me go check on this dude Ansige. He's always getting himself into some trouble. So she walks out into the courtyard. There he is, sure enough, with his head stuck to this pot. She's like, Ansige, what happened? He goes, do you not know me? Do not act as though you do not know me. I was still hungry. I was trying to get some more food out of the bottom of the bowl. Just get me out of here. Don't ask any questions. She says, all right. She calls up the townspeople. She says, townspeople, come on through. They said, all right, what's going on this time? He says, well, me and Ansige, my husband over here, we had a wager that if he could stick his head in the pot, that if his head was small enough to stick in the pot. I thought that it was too big. He thought it was too small. It turns out I was right. His head is too big. It does not fit. Can you guys help him out of it? And they're like, sure. So one of the guys grabs his hammer, clink, breaks it open. But the townspeople thought this one was especially funny. They're just laughing. Ha 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 ha. This is so funny, ha ha, Ansige. He does not like that. He is so offended that he packed up all his things, the things that he never even unpacked because he was so busy eating. Packed up the rest of his stuff and just hightailed it back to the castle. So when he gets back, he realizes the whole point of him coming over here in the first place was so he can get his wife to come back to make him some food. So he calls his servant. He says, go back and get Pama. Tell her to come back with me and live with me. So Pama sends the servant back with this message: do not act as though I do not know you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the terrible tale of Ansige. Not the terrible tale, what am I talking about? It's a great story. The gluttonous tale of Ansige. If you guys enjoyed this, then like, comment, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also make music, so I make the soundtrack that is playing behind this video. I also have that on my SoundCloud, on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, KelvinNotCalvin, YouTube, Facebook, all of that stuff. KelvinNotCalvin. Signing off. I will see you next week. Thank you guys.